All right, hello everyone. This is Jason, aka Jtrain, coming to you live from this wonderful studio of mine. There might be some sort of a delay on the Twitch stream, so if you don't see this pop up right away at the scheduled time, that's probably why. But you know, I am ready to get in to what we are all here for. So this is the Jtrain Fitness Show. This is a kind of experiment on my part to deliver my knowledge, my experience, my love of fitness and health and strategies for conquering things that might impede you from becoming the optimal version of yourself. So this is our first episode. I'm really excited. I'm glad for everyone who is here joining me right now on my Twitch stream. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate your support. If you hear my Facebook thing go off like it did just now, it's because I actually didn't have time to write down the questions. So I'm sorry if that annoys you. I promise that it will be fixed for the next go around. But pretty much, again, this is an experiment of mine. I want to answer fitness questions that you might have, nutritional questions you might have, maybe motivating yourself, stuff like that. There is a chat window right here. If you go onto twitch.com or twitch.tv/jtrain1224, you can find this stream. I think you have to have a Twitch account. It's really simple. It's really quick. Just sign up and then you can chat. As I get questions, they will pop up right here. So for an example, let me I guess type something in to just make sure that it's working right now. Hello. Oh, hey, I see that as soon as I type something up, my friend Chris is here. What's up, Chris? How's it going, man? Thank you for joining us. If you have a question, just go ahead and type it right there. Anything motivational related, fitness related, nutrition, research, analysis, anything like that, and I will be sure to answer it along with the questions that the people of my Facebook have been so kind enough to answer for me. So a little bit about myself before we get started. My name's Jason. I am from Virginia. I have a bachelor's in BS in biology from George Mason University, minor in business. After that, I went to the University of Florida and attained my master's in public health. I've worked in the public health field, research field for a while now, going on, I guess, 3-4 years now. I have experience with injury prevention, epidemiology, mental health epidemiology. I've worked in health clinics down in Florida as well. I'm also a certified personal trainer, and as a hobby, I have been bodybuilding for about 5 years now. In January, it's going to be 6 years, but that's just a brief, I guess, biography of myself. Let's get into some of the questions that you guys might have as well that I might answer for you right now. Let's see what Chris said. I actually do have a question. We'll go ahead and ask that question, Chris. I'll answer it as soon as I get through, I guess, this one question. See if you've asked it. If not, I'll just keep going, and then I'll go ahead and answer your question. So the first question that I had on my Facebook, I kind of have a TV right here that's showing me everything. So let's see. The first question that I have off of my Facebook. Let's see. So the question is asked: whenever I go to the gym, my heart beats super fast. I sweat profusely. It gets kind of hard to breathe. Any suggestions for fixing this problem? The initial thing, first off, let me say that any advice that I give you guys on this channel is not meant to be taken as like something like a doctor would give you. It's just advice. It's anecdotal. I can tell you based off of my experience what I would recommend, but don't take that as me like prescribing you anything. When I read something like that says whenever I go to the gym, my heart beats super fast, I sweat profusely, hard to breathe. To me, that sounds a lot like anxiety. Ask your doctor if you might have a health condition, definitely. But also, that kind of symptom is those symptoms to me immediately kind of say anxiety, and it might be because you're not used to going to the gym. It intimidates you. That's completely understandable. When I first went to the gym, I went at nighttime so that nobody would see me because I thought that it was definitely something that I would never be good at. And the reason why I'm kind of familiar with anxiety is my family, for example, has a history of anxiety issues. They freak out easily. They worry about that. I personally have a OCD, so I'll have like these very like occasional spurts of like anxiety where I'll be like, oh, if this doesn't happen right now, or if I don't do something, some bad event will happen, and I get a kind of form of anxiety from that. Sweaty palms, heartbeats, hard to breathe. It sounds to me that you're kind of psyching yourself out mentally before you get into the gym. The way that I would combat that is, first you have to kind of beat the gym mentally. I can tell you from pretty much living in the gym these past 5 years or so that there's nothing to worry about. You don't have to. Nobody's looking at you and saying, "Oh my goodness, that person's awful." In fact, if somebody does say that, they're probably intimidated as well and scared as well and trying to make themselves feel better at the same moment. Everyone is there at a different skill level. Everyone is there to work on themselves, and you should worry about yourself. I guarantee you do not look ridiculous in the gym. You won't be the least experienced. Just go in there and enjoy it. Tell yourself as you're going to the gym, I'm going to dominate this workout. I'm going to crush this workout. I'm starting a new. If you're new and that's what's making you nervous, say, I'm ready to start a new beginning in the gym. I'm ready to crush this. I'm ready to transform myself. And I'm just going to dominate it. Take some deep breaths, breathe well, listen to some music that calms you down. Maybe go with a friend. I would definitely recommend that so that you don't feel intimidated. All of a sudden you don't feel like people are looking at you, judging you. They're not, again, but if you feel like that might be an issue, definitely maybe think about bringing a friend to the gym. You could do what I did and go at a time where there's not that many people, so don't go very early in the morning, and the peak times of the gym are like 5 to 7, morning and afternoon. So don't go at those times. If you feel like you might be intimidated, your schedule might not let you do that, and that's fine. But don't psych yourself out. You're putting a huge burden on the gym, and I don't think that you should be. I mean, it's a fun thing. It's a great place to get to know people. Everyone there is friendly. As long as you're friendly, and you shouldn't be freaking out. I hope that answers your question a little bit. It sounds to me, I don't think you have a medical condition per se, but I think that you definitely are psyching yourself out and generating some sort of internal anxiety that is causing you to psych yourself out of the gym. Or you're thinking that it's going to be a painful workout or whatever. You don't have to go in there, and you don't have to become a fitness guru on your first day. Go in there, just test out one machine and leave. Walk for like 5 minutes and leave. Baby steps. And this will probably be a theme as I get questions, but fitness, becoming a pro at fitness is a stepwise kind of thing. It's baby steps, and that's what I would recommend. Nutrition wise, working out wise, all of that. So I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, and you know who you are, let me know, and I'll try my best to answer it next time. All right, Chris, what do you got? I've been doing small workouts at home lately. I'm still trying to break my body into a routine. If I push myself really hard, the soreness from the exercise takes multiple days to recover from. Is this normal? Am I exerting myself too much? And should I dial it back slightly so that I recover more quickly but have frequent workouts? I want to say hello to Mocha Angel, and I want to say hello to NS Rawberry. I hope I pronounced that right. Thank you for joining my channel. Okay, Chris. So the first part of your question, I'm still trying to break my body into a routine. Okay, that's good, because like what I just said, baby steps. Don't become a pro. Don't try to become Mr. Olympia the first time you go into the gym. Don't try to become the guy that everyone looks at for fitness. When I started working out, it's really weird because I guess I could have I could have quit if I looked at it as like I'm not making gains or whatever. I think it's because when I was in high school, I was the kid who was like playing Magic the Gathering, going to the library early to play Magic the Gathering. Not that that's bad at all, but like I wasn't involved in any sports. I didn't do any social activities. And the way that I looked was I was like 150 pounds on like a 5'8" frame. And from the interest that I had at the time, I didn't think that it was like something that I would ever be into. So I never thought that like, you know, I should be this at a certain time. I'm kind of getting on a tangent here, but take it baby steps and don't think that you're going to be a pro right away. Aim for one small goal each time. And yeah, you don't want to exert yourself too much, but don't get that confused with like, don't be pushing yourself. Have a small goal that you want to attain, like, okay, I want to run, you know, 1 mile, and then within a month I want to run 2 miles. Something small. A theme that I'm going to tell you guys here. It's I kind of came up with this from like, you know, as a kid and also reading Calvin and Hobbes. If you pull a wagon down a hill with people in it and you take a right turn, all of a sudden everyone's going to fly off, and and what you're trying to build is going to break down. Whereas if you go slowly, not only is it an easier stop, but you know, you won't have everything falling off the handle, and you won't fail. The soreness from the exercise takes multiple days to recover from. When you first start out, definitely. I remember in high school when I first did an ab workout with a guy named Matt. My abs were sore for like that entire week because my body had not been able to deal with that shock. It had not built up the necessary fortitude to deal with that shock. So yeah, but I will say, yes, the more and more that you do this, the less and less you'll feel it. The workouts that I do now, I remember in Florida, I had someone who had never lifted before do it, and they actually could not bring their arms fully all the way down. And it's because their body was just completely shocked. But if they kept doing my workout, it wouldn't have eventually gotten to that level. So the soreness for days, it doesn't necessarily mean that like you're pushing yourself too hard. It just means that, you know, you're new to it. If you feel joint pain, if you feel ligament pain, if you feel like your body is going to, something's going to pop, then definitely bring it back. Should I dial it back slightly so that I recover more quickly from, but have more frequent workouts? I would say you will know the intensity that you should be at to where you feel like it's just like you had exerted yourself, but you're not close to injuring yourself. I think you know kind of how that feels. Just be consistent with it. Eat lots of protein so you recover, and sleep. Sleep is the most important and the most underrated supplement of all time. You gain muscle, you heal, you get more energy that way. That is so important. So if you sleep well, if you eat lots of protein, you should be able to not feel as exerted when you are when you're working out. But I would say keep with it. If you feel like it's a joint pain, a bad pain, dial it back. Don't do anything that you don't think you're necessarily capable of. Keep trying to push your maxes as you go along. You'll out protein me any day. Okay, that's cool. I mean, then you're definitely getting enough. Let me see what NS Rawberry said. My ... I don't know. Took a year to show decent results. About 4 months of that was agonizing, embarrassing slowness and weakness. That huffing and wheezing was guaranteed to be me for that long. Not a question, just an anecdote. Well, hey, thanks for the anecdote. I appreciate the comments. If anybody wants to comment on this stream about how I can improve it, what you like about it, what, you know, any explanations that you need further explanation on, let me know. I hope that answers your question, Chris, a little bit. If it didn't, just, you know, ask for more clarification on something. Yeah, I think it should be good, and you can also message me. You know how to find me. So yeah. All right. So another question that I had on my Facebook was, do I have any recommendations for protein powder that don't have a bunch of chemicals, weird ingredients? I'm glad I got this question because I remember looking at a video by Kai Green, and he said something that actually kind of uh, stuck with me. And he said that the supplement industry wants to make consumers before they make bodybuilders, before they make fitness buffs, before they make people who are into fitness. That's absolutely true. The thing that you need to know about protein powders and supplements is that they're not regulated by the FDA. In that, as long as they don't kill you, they can be, you know, whatever. I could go outside right now and pull up some potting soil, put some worms in it, ground it up, you know, water it, put it in some Kool-Aid, and call it like Super Hardcore Gainer Extreme XXL Ultra Mass or whatever. And as long as it didn't kill you, didn't have to do anything. You spent a lot of money for something that didn't cost me that much money. I've had a ton of learning so much. Thanks, bro. Keep it going. Thanks, BB, and I really appreciate it. So the thing about supplements is this. I've definitely had supplements. I'll say right now, because nobody asked the question. It's a question I get posed to a lot of times. You don't need supplements at all. The ones that I would recommend: whey protein and creatine. Do you need them? Absolutely not. If you have a balanced diet, that's what you want. And actually, I definitely prefer, and I will always tell my clients, people who are asking the question, I will always recommend whole food, because if I give you protein powder, if it's from a reputable company, yeah, you can probably maybe say that, you know, what is in it is what is in it, and that it'll work. Or I can give you 10 eggs, and it'll be 10 eggs. It'll have the nutritional value of 10 eggs. You can look at the back of you know, what the FDA approves for the nutritional facts of eggs and see, okay, I'm definitely getting this much protein in my eggs. And the amount of money that you spend on supplements could just be put towards whole food. Your body will I mean, I'm not going to say your body's going to process better or worse a supplement compared to a protein powder or a supplement, because I don't know. I don't have that research readily available to me, but whole food is not more or less better than, let me rephrase that. Whole food can be better than supplements depending on the supplements that you're using, but supplements are not really ever better than whole food. I mean, if you're like taking steroids or anabolic steroids or anything like that, then I mean, that's different. That's synthetic hormone. But if you're just talking about over-the-counter kind of supplements, then, you know, I would recommend whole food, because that's, you know, you can have it, you know what's in it. As far as the question is, any recommendations for protein powders that don't have a bunch of weird chemicals ingredients? I don't necessarily know. I can tell you the protein powder that I recommend, and that's Optimum Nutrition Whey. I actually do really enjoy the Optimum Nutrition line of protein powders and supplements. I also use off and on their creatine. Don't ever buy more than just whey protein. If it's like whey protein X factor, you know, don't do that. Thanks for the comment, J Bone. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. You just need whey protein powder, and whey protein powder is good. I mean, when you're trying to build muscle, you're trying to get as many amino acids as you can, because amino acids come in, I think it's a hydrolysis or a dehydration reaction. It's one of those two. To build muscle. So your body is made out of protein. It has proteins in it, and the proteins are made from amino acids, as they link. And some amino acids, I believe it's valine, isoleucine, and leucine. Could be others. Absolutely, don't quote me on that. But you want to get a wide variety of amino acids so that you, I guess, increase the probability that, you know, you're building muscle. A lot of this is kind of pissing in the dark, but we know that some things seem to be highly correlated. That's eating a lot of protein. So again, I don't have one that like doesn't have chemicals or weird ingredients. If that's a concern to you, definitely go to whole food. It won't be any different. Let's see. Can I? Is there anything else to that question? No, I think that answered that. If you know who you are, who asked that question. If there's any other, if I didn't answer it to your liking, if you're in the chat, say what's up. If not, you can message me personally. Let's see. J Bone. Well, it seems like BBN asked the question first. After body pump class, I always feel so sleepy. Good to know I'm doing the right thing. Protein and rest to build muscle. You're absolutely right. If anyone has any issues with sleep, I wish someone would ask me a question on sleep because I could delve into it for a long time. But if you have issues with sleep, definitely attempt to work out. Because I guarantee if you work out enough, if you work out hard enough, you will not have any issues with sleep. I don't care how much coffee you're drinking. I don't care how much energy drinks you had. If you crush it at the gym, if you crush it at the gym, you will have no issues with sleep. Especially if you work a job like I do that requires you to wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I haven't had an issue with sleep. As a side tangential note, if you have issues with sleep, what I think is important, what I've found is important personally, and you can try it as well, is this: exercise frequently, and exercise hard. Make sure your room is very dark. Make sure your room is cold, and make sure you are not thinking about sleep. That last one's probably the most important. If you think about sleep, you will not sleep. Okay? So don't ever think about sleep. It's called falling asleep. You have to fall into it. Let yourself drift away. All right, guys? Awesome. And girls, awesome. Let's see. J-Bone, how do I increase my appetite? I tried many things, even smoking pot. Yeah, I've heard, smoking pot gives you the munchies. I'm not trying to stand on any podium here or anything like that. I don't care if people smoke pot. I personally haven't, so I can't attest to how that increases your appetite. I don't know if your question revolves around putting on mass or anything like that, or losing weight if you're at a body type that is not something that you want. Maybe you can clarify in the chat. But ways to increase appetite. I mean, if I can tell you from my personal experience, I've done pretty much every kind of bodybuilding diet you can think of. I've eaten every 2 hours. I've tried to eat 3,000 calories in one sitting with the intermittent fasting thing. Don't recommend it. Don't do it. It's awful. It sucks. It's awful. But I realized that, like, when I had a meal every 2 hours, when I had a small meal every 2 hours, what would happen is I would get hungry around 2 hours. So one way that I may suggest that would increase your appetite is have more of a schedule. If there's a certain time that you want to be hungry, try to eat around that time consistently for a while, and then when you try to break that, your body's going to be like, what's going on? Because your body definitely kind of plays into cycles, plays into trends, plays into all that. So I hope that answers your question. Also, if you want to try eating a lot of food for a while, I know it might suck force feeding. I know as someone who bodybuilds, it can suck just slugging down food, but try eating more food often. And then going back to eating regularly. I think your appetite will be better. You might also be eating foods that satiate you quicker. So you might be eating foods that are high in fiber, like veggies, wheat. Stuff that gets you full. You might be drinking a lot of liquid that makes you feel satiated. So maybe try, I don't know, eating more, scaling it back if that makes any sense. Let's see. NS Rawberry, here's a question. What's a good way to increase high impact endurance, like exercises to increase the length of time you can do high impact activity without your muscles or lungs giving out, sprinting, let's say, or punching drills? From what I will let you know right now that I'm not a pro with cardio. You kind of know how the whole bodybuilder thing goes. But what I will say, from what I've, because I kind of went through seasons where I would play backyard football with people. I would try to train, I played Ultimate Frisbee this past summer. It was a lot of fun, but it definitely showed me, because it's constant movement, right? But the more and more I did it, the easier it got. The season was so short to where I never actually became a pro at Ultimate Frisbee. But those people have insane cardio, and you could see that the people who play it all the time can just keep running forever, and you just have to train yourself to do that. It's like, it's like lifting weights. You don't start off with trying to bench press or dumbbell press 200 pounds in each hand, right? You start off slow and you build up to it. So if you're trying to increase your endurance, high impact endurance at a high level, maybe what you do is you do some wind sprints. If you're looking for like an explosive endurance thing, Try sprinting a short distance and keep doing that and keep pushing yourself. Again, not hard, but like improving every day. David Puccinella, who I would recommend looking up on YouTube, who I actually met and is an amazing bodybuilder and a guy who can offer a lot of great advice. He said something. He said, you know, if I take one step to the west, it doesn't look like anything, right? But if I take 3,000 miles worth, I'm in California, you know, roughly, right? So look at fitness that way, guys. Look at it as though like one step each day, but improving. You don't have to go from like silver to gold. You can go to silver to a little bit more silver, and then eventually you'll reach gold. Do something that your body is not going to be like, God, I have to do this all the time. Just the more and more it's like muscle, right? The more you tear it up ever so slightly, and it keeps building on top of each other, and then eventually you got huge biceps, right? That's what I would recommend if you're trying to increase your explosion. Maybe also talk to a football coach to see if they can tell you ways that they get their receivers conditioned or something like that. Always look for people who, in life, not just in fitness, in life, don't shut out people who know more than you about something. Look at them as a resource, as someone who can tell you, who can give you, like, who can improve you and evolve you. If you know, the first person that comes to mind is a football coach. If you're looking to increase your high endurance, be like, hey, I want a plan that can help my explosion and my endurance. Let me know what it is. I want to do it in increments. I'm not looking. If you have a goal, tell them when that goal is. But if you're saying like, I just want to eventually get there, then, you know, absolutely. Just tell them, you know, I want where I'm going to succeed, and you know your limits. You know what your not limits. You know what you can take at any given time. Just, you know, base it off of that. Okay. Let's see. I think and if it's punching drills, I would, you know, talk to a boxer. Boxing, man, that'll be some great cardio as well. It looks like you want to like be fast. You want to punch somebody. You want to become Captain Falcon or something, which would be really cool. So definitely try to take that advice. I hope I answered that. I'm not sure I know who you are. If I do, I'm sorry, but give me a follow. And you can see like I'm here every Monday. Tell me if it's been working out for you. And see if I answer your question. Let's see. BBN25. Thanks for encouraging me to eat whole food versus supplements. Now I eat boiled eggs every morning and always have fresh meat thawing in my Falcon Punch in my fridge. Can't wait to see my results in 3 months. Hey, I'm gonna tell you something, BBN25. You're gonna be a stud. You're gonna be the man. People are gonna look to you. They're gonna be inspired by you. All you got to do is believe that you can do it, and I know you can do it, man. You're boiling your eggs every morning. You're having fresh meat. You're thawing your meat. You're thinking about this, and that is what is important. Your mind is what manifests your reality. Okay, find anyone who's watching this right now. Okay, let me tell you something about me in fitness, right? I didn't start this out because I was like, you know, oh, I want to become healthy. I want to become like super cool, whatever. No, I got pissed off at where I was, the way I looked, and I had an aesthetic in mind that I wanted to have some sort of aesthetic that where like when I walked into a room or something, it's like, you know, oh, like, you know, he's different. He does something, you know, like he looks I'm really into like the whole stoic mindset of like a person, and thinking of good thoughts never motivated me in the gym. Thinking of like someone who disappointed me, thinking of like somewhere that I wasn't, you know, is what motivated me. So BBN25, I wish you all the luck, man, and I'm here for you. Come on in every Monday. Tell me how you're doing. If you need motivation, man, I'll give it to you. And I will say, and find what motivates you to keep doing this. It looks like you're on the right track. Keep eating a lot. As someone who tries to eat like a bodybuilder, I can always eat food now. It used to be like I'd be like, you know, I could go a whole day without, you know, eating food, right? But I eat so much food now that like if I could eat a steak and then 2 hours later go out to dinner with the family, because and also it's because of the way I look at food. I don't look at food in meals. I look at food as like, okay, this needs to be in my body, and this needs to help me help you know hit my macronutrient goals or anything like that, right? So look at it that way, man. I know you're gonna do it. You're the best. All right. Let's see. We got another question. I think you should make sure to tell people the difference between bodybuilding, powerlifting, CrossFit, so on. Yes, absolutely. Guys and girls, do not ever go to the gym and think that you have to do everything. All right. It's like there's many analogies that I can think of. I think that in life you can associate a football analogy to everything. Anything that's going on in your life. Because I love football, right? Maybe someone disagrees, and maybe you can do that with any topic. But with football, for example, right? Does Peyton Manning ever need to know how to take a handoff? Does a running back ever need to know how to rush the quarterback? At the professional level, no. They build a skill set around what their goal is. When Dennis Rodman was playing basketball, people were like, look, you're good at one thing, you're good at rebounding, so we want you to be the best rebounder. He wanted to be the best rebounder in the NBA, so that's all he focused on. He didn't care about shooting threes or free throws or dunking or assisting or whatever. He did one thing, and he did one thing really well, and now he's in the Hall of Fame. When you look at fitness as like what you want to do. Do I want to be a bodybuilder? Do I want to learn how to run marathons? Do I want to power lift and be good at a handful of different exercises? These are important questions to ask. Do I want to be flexible? Do I want to be able to do a yoga pose? These are very important questions to ask, because if you want to become, a hardcore sprinter, maybe bodybuilding isn't for you. If you want to do yoga, maybe bodybuilding's not for you. I guess they could be good. I'm not, saying that it's not good to have a variety of things. But like what this person is trying to, the question this person is trying to pose to me, it's like, what's the difference? If you're trying to do CrossFit well, if you're trying to do powerlifting well, if you're trying to do bodybuilding well, your lifts, your gym days, your goals, your rests, the amount you lift could be completely different depending on what you're trying to do. So research different fields of fitness, marathon running, sprinting, functional training, which is like trying to learn a certain training your body to perform a certain task. So I guess if you're trying to like learn how to like get off the line onto like an offensive lineman, doing that motion in the gym over and over again would be beneficial to you. But trying to like maybe get hypertrophy in your shoulders might not be, as a bodybuilder, because bodybuilding is all about is mostly about aesthetics. I don't power lift. If I go into a Panera, if I go into a Chipotle, the weight that I lift does not hover above my head. But people can look at me and say like, oh, hey, he probably lifts, and that, to a bodybuilder, like that's what's important. It's not the number. Now, if you are a power lifter, right? The maxes that you get on the deadlift, on the bench press, on the squat, yeah, are important. So you gotta look at that. So research your specific craft. It's really cool. I kind of look at it almost like in the cartoon Avatar, or like Magic the Gathering or whatever. You subscribe to a different school of thought, a school of like fitness, and each one has its own like kind of techniques. It's like you're playing an MMORPG, right? You're building a character based off of like what you want it to do. If I don't like to sit back and shoot arrows at somebody, I like to be in the action. Why am I worrying about like what my like range of my bow is, or like what kind of bow I have, right? Why am I not worrying about like my strength or whatever? That's kind of how I look at it. So that was a good question. I'm glad that was asked, and I'm glad that I could, talk about it. Let's see. Next question that I have. I need to know the biomechanics behind joints and their relevant average tolerances before failure. As a bodybuilder, when you get into these different realms of fitness, right? Like you have even like micro realms before it, right? Like you have people who would say like, this is the best way to bodybuild, that's the best way to bodybuild. My way of bodybuilding is that I always lift till failure. I always go until like I'm like shaking and I can't move it anymore, because that's the limit I'm at. My body's already built to do the reps before that. So I try to put it onto something that it can't do. Your question is like, I need to know the biomechanics behind joints and the relevant average tolerances. You should know the tolerances in the sense that like you'll know if like you feel like something is about to pop, if something is not. I would say even at the amateur level of fitness, you will know if a feeling is a soreness, is your muscles just working. You get like a more burning sensation, a more like, just can't move sensation, and pain, and like, this thing's about to break, this thing's about to pop. It's like an immediate like nope, like if I'm doing dumbbell press incorrectly and I'm going way too out far, my shoulder's going to be like, nope, stop it. I'm going to feel an instant pain. I'm like, you got to stop doing that. Right. So that's what I would say is like the something to consider when you're talking about the relevant, like, the biomechanics. I'm sure there's like some sort of like, geometry you can do with like loads and stuff based off of like, how much muscle mass you have, your height and stuff. But I wouldn't say worry about that too much. Always, if you start off bodybuilding, flex the muscle, right? So if I flex my chest, right, you see how where everything's going in my body, right? It's going toward that because that's the line of drive, which is one reason why I don't like bench press, because if you're trying to work out your chest, it doesn't really take advantage of this motion, right? So if part of your question is asking like, the biomechanics behind joints, in terms of like stimulating muscle for growth or whatever, flex it and see what direction it goes into, and also maybe read up on the muscle groups as well if you're interested. I mean, I became interested in it from doing it for so long because I want to see, like, I'm at the point now where like I want to see like what marginal difference will make the difference. So like, for example, like a bicep curl, right? Yeah, your bicep does this, but it also is involved with like rotating right here, and I learned that by just looking up the anatomy, and that gave me an edge on my bicep, and from there you can further push upwards to get an even more of a pump on your bicep. So that is one form of biomechanics you can think of if you're worried about like breaking something. You should know right away if it's like, dangerous. I would also highly recommend that you look up YouTube videos on like the proper form, because there are some people out there who will tell you how to do something that's completely incorrect. Or you'll see something in the gym and you try to replicate it, it's completely incorrect. For people who don't go into the gym that often, there's a lot of people in the gym have no idea what they're doing. They don't think about it, right? They just kind of do these herky-jerky motions, and it's like, it's not good for them. So look online at multiple sources. As someone who does research, you always want to get kind of a mean, by mean I mean average, conclusion to something before you attack it, right? And if you're still unsure, when you do the motion, do it at a very low weight to kind of see how it's supposed to feel, right? And then there's probably a personal trainer somewhere, just like, hey, I just have a quick question about the biomechanics of this joint, how it's supposed to move. If the gym hired a good personal trainer, and there are a lot of good personal trainers out there, then they should be able to answer your question, at least to the degree to where you're doing something safe. So I hope that answers your question. I think the person who asked the question is still kind of like messaging me. Okay, cool, awesome. I think I answered that question. J Bone, what you got for me? Don't lift heavy weights. LOL. You can get a great workout and build muscle with mid-range weights like 70% max. If that's a question, yes, you absolutely can. When it comes to building muscle, I will say this though. A lot of people want to come up to me and be like, okay, this is my light day, this is my heavy day, whatever. I can tell you in the 5 years that I've been lifting weights, every day's been a heavy day. Every day's been a lift till failure day. Every day's been a push as hard as you can push day. The reason why I've been, lucky enough, knock on wood, sorry if this hurts the microphone. The reason why I've been lucky enough is because I always practice good form. I always kind of figure out what my limits are, and I angle my body to where it's just stimulating that muscle. Like, for example, like a lot of people do dumbbell press like this, but why? Because you're putting a lot of issue on your shoulders. If you're just trying to stimulate the chest, you can bring your elbows down and completely take out the strain in the shoulder. Lifting light, here's the thing. If you're taking steroids, which I don't think you are, right? Not a lot of people do. You know, if you're taking anabolic steroids or whatever, like they react to just stimulation in the muscle, right? Like they attack that, and that stimulation is like, okay, time to grow, right? Natural bodybuilding, I kind of subscribe to you know, lifting heavy, pushing your maxes. Now, is that me saying that like that's the only way to do it? Absolutely not, because what is important when you're trying to build muscle? You can definitely do it wrong by lifting heavy weight, because like let's say you only do 2 reps. I mean, what did that do? Because your muscle responds to stress, but also what's very important is the time under tension. What the time under tension is like, if this is a dumbbell, right? This remote right here, okay? If I grab it and I go like this, okay, which a lot of people do in the gym, is like, oh, look at how much of a bad you-know-what I am, like how fast I can do this, right? It's, you know, okay, but like, it's kind of like running over hot coals, like really fast. Yeah, you won't feel it. You'll look really cool, but it didn't really do much for like, you know, the toughness of, I guess, your feet or whatever, right? To stimulate muscle growth, one thing that's very important, and a reason why a lot of people say, okay, 2 seconds up, 2 seconds down, something like that, is because you are giving I'm not sure how to describe it. You're giving your body more time under tension. You're stressing the muscle for a longer amount of time, and that is one thing that I believe initiates and stimulates muscle growth, or muscles to grow, right? So can you build muscle on mid-range weights? Yes, but only if it's like mid-range. And again, it doesn't have to be 100% of your 1 rep max. In fact, it's probably not 100% of your 1 rep max. What I would recommend, whatever you do, if you're trying to build muscle, you want a rep range to where you are failing between 6 reps and 15 reps. If you can go more than 15 reps, I would say increase the weight, because I don't think that you are stimulating your muscle enough. Also consider drop sets. What a drop set is that if you are curling, for example, and you get to failure on a certain weight, you drop it, right? Don't literally drop it. It's not good. Put it aside. You're done with it. Okay? Pick up a weight that is smaller, because you have more reps in you that you can do, and stimulate yourself, you know, for longer, right? It's like having a spotter. If you have a spotter, this might not be necessary, but I can definitely say that if I was to recommend building muscle, lift till failure, use drop sets. Those are 2 very important things, right? Mid-range weights, 70% max, yes, depending on how hard you are pushing and how much you are stimulating the muscle and how much of a time under tension you have. So, hope that answered your question, J Bone. Keep asking them. You have some good questions, but I really appreciate it. Really good questions from J Bone, NS Rawberry, BBN. Thank you guys. I really appreciate, you know, helping me out with the chat on my first show. What do I have? Another question. Here we go. I love motivational questions. I love hyping people up. When you've had a long day at work and feel completely pooped and fatigued, by the time you leave and get done with 2 hours of traffic, how do you motivate yourself and recoup your energy to get in the gym? Good question. I love it. I'll tell you something about myself, not trying to gloat, right? I wake up at 4:30 in the morning every day because I work in a place that is in another state, 40 minutes away. Traffic is awful. I have to wake up that early so that I can get to work, you know, soon. I try to get into work at 6. I leave at 2. From there, I go into my second job. Okay, I have online courses that I have to do. I'm trying to develop this stream cast, which, you know, I'm really loving how it's turning out so far. And I you know, I have a dog who I love very much, who I try to give attention to. And then I'm also trying to keep the bodybuilding thing, and that requires me to work out 2.5 hours a day. So I don't have time either. And the commute is is probably combined like about 2 hours as well. I have literally like only the time to do those things, right? And I can understand, especially late in the week, how that can wear on you. But just like somebody who would use a busy excuse on you, which is never a good excuse, don't ever use that excuse for somebody, on somebody, for yourself. You have to find the things that are important to you. Because while it seems like we don't have a lot of time, 24 hours is still a lot of time, right? Bodybuilding is the single most important thing that has ever happened to me in my life. It is the thing that has changed me for what I believe is the better. It is, you know, something that has given so much to me that I will be forever grateful for. As weird as that sounds, it's a priority to me. Okay? And I'm not saying that fitness is not a priority to you, but you don't look at it as like, am I going to do this? You look at it as I have to do this because this is what I want to be. This is who I want to become. Motivating yourself to recoup your energy to get into the gym. Look, you don't have to be 100% when you're at the gym. By Thursday, the amount of sleep that I, was knuckleheaded enough to not get, plus, how sore I feel and how tired I feel from working out with the intensity that I do. Thursday comes around, man, I'm not at 100%. I'm not. But what you have to be is 100% of whatever you bring to the gym. As long as you are giving 100% of whatever you have, you might be super tired, you might be too sore to do a workout or whatever, but you have to give 100% of what you have. And as long as you do that, that's what's important, man. Like, that's what's important. Motivating motivating yourself to recoup yourself in the gym. You have to, again, what I think I said earlier in this broadcast, before you do something like this, before you take on any endeavor in life, right? You have to find what motivates you. There's something that motivates you. It could be something what people think should motivate you. Oh, I want to improve myself. It's all for me and only me. But maybe that doesn't spark a fire under your you-know-what, right? Like, maybe you hate your boss and you're like, man, I hate that guy. I'm going to, prove him wrong or whatever. Maybe you broke up with somebody and you're like, she made a bad mistake and I'm going to, prove that. Not saying it's right, but find what, what motivates you, and use that. And again, look at it as like, it's not a choice. It has to happen. It's like, breathing. Oh, I don't have time to breathe. I have so much to do. No, you have to breathe. So, say you have to go to the gym, while you're in traffic, be like, man, this is just, I can't believe how psyched I am getting to the gym. Maybe you're playing some music and you're just like, yeah, I can't, man, I'm just going to put this workout in its grave, right? Maybe that helps. Also, if you're not trying to be, a bodybuilder, if you're not trying to like look, have a certain aesthetic, maybe you don't like, you don't have to have a 2-hour workout, Maybe you just go into the gym. Maybe you're just going to the gym for 15 minutes. Maybe you go, what I tell people is this: if you are trying to be good with fitness, if you're trying to evolve yourself from a fitness standpoint, if you're trying to get into this, or anything, right? You don't ever give yourself an excuse, because if you justify it one time, I guarantee you will justify it 1,000,000 times, right? If you have to go to the gym, I don't care who you're dating. I don't care what job you have. I don't care what classes you have. If fitness is something that's important to you, okay, you will go into the gym just to breathe the gym, okay? Because that will keep you on it. The second you break it, you're already 3 months, down, halfway through a box of Haagen-Dazs, crushing a Netflix show. Okay? If nothing is there to motivate you, if you are literally like, you can't move and you can't go to the gym, if there's nothing that can spark a fire within you, go to the gym and smell it. Just go to the gym, say hi to the person at the front desk, walk out. You went to the gym. Okay, it's such a mental game, guys, girls. It's such a mental game. You know, you manifest in here like what you are putting out there. So to your question, you've had a long day at work. A lot of people have, and I bet you work very hard. And if you are in a service industry, I thank you for, you know, providing that service and making it awesome. 2 hours of traffic. Yeah, this area I live in the DC metro area. It's awful. 66 is the devil's penis. It feeds off of efficiency, right? But it's not an excuse. It just means that you will be that much later to the gym, but you're still gonna finish it because you're a stud, because nobody does this except you, because you're the man, because you have a dream that you are trying to manifest into reality, and nothing is going to stop that. Nothing, no one is going to stop that. Right? Right. Okay, so I think I went on that. I went on that a little long. I've been J-Bone and NS Rawberry have been patiently waiting for me to answer their questions. Let's see. Speaking of drop sets, what's your take? Some people say do them every workout or whenever you want. Some people say only do drop sets on specific days that are conditioning, totally exhausting target muscle. Always do drop sets. Always, all the time, every single set. It's what I recommend. When I first started this, I did drop sets on the last 2 sets. So maybe that's what you want to start off with. Or if you're doing 3, I do 4x4. So I do like 4 exercises, you know, 4 sets each, like 16 sets. Plus the drop sets, so that adds on like sets, but I don't think of it that way, because if I thought, oh, I'm doing 32 sets, I'd take myself mentally out of it. I'm not going to think like that. Drop sets are very important because, again, you are putting your body in an environment that is conducive to building muscle. You don't build muscle in the gym. You put your body in a position to when you sleep, to when you are eating food, that it prioritizes building muscle, building, you know, repairing itself. Drop sets are so important. They were important for me because when I started working out, I had nobody. I had YouTube. There's a guy named Scooby, and that's who got me into working out. And he's the only guy whose channel I would look at. I thought I was a weirdo for like being into it. I thought people would laugh at me if I said, "Hey, I'm trying to bodybuild," right? I didn't really have any friends. You know, this is another reason why I wanted to get into this. I didn't have anybody who could come to the gym. You know, I wasn't dating anybody. It's so much been a solo endeavor for me that I didn't have the luxury of somebody behind me, or somebody behind me consistently, because you will go through workout partners like you go through tissues in flu season, cold season, right? The thing I love about bodybuilding is that really the only person you can ever really blame is yourself. You know, you don't have to rely on teams. You don't have to rely on other people for happiness, for success. Everything you see is what you did. It's the sum of what you did. Okay? But to get back to drop sets, again, it's one of the top 3 things I would say has helped me build muscle. I've always lifted till failure. I've always done drop sets, and it's just, think about it this way: those are extra reps that you are leaving on the table, that you need, that you could have, that you could. It's like playing an RPG, right? There's like 3 ogres or goblins that you left in the field that could have helped up your experience. It's extra stress and extra stimulation that you crave, that you should be like just bloodlusting after, and it accounts for, you know, it. Because your body is built to come here. If you keep going here, you're not going to grow that much. You might not grow at all. You want to put yourself here. You want your body to be like, what the F is going on? We need to fortify. You want to keep making hurricane gains run through Muscle City so that they keep fortifying Muscle City, right? This is the analogy I use for everybody. That I've exhausted this. You know, people probably laugh when I say this now. If you were in a classroom and you could get an A without ever doing the homework, would you ever do the homework? No, you wouldn't. You would not do the homework because you could ace the class. If your body has to take energy, it expends so much energy and resources to build muscle and maintain the muscle. So you have to give it a reason to say, "Oh my God, I have to keep putting on. I have to fortify this guy. I have to build more muscle to do what the crazy s that he's doing in the gym." And one way you do that is drop sets. So I hope that answers your question, J Bone. Thanks again for the question, man. I appreciate it. NS Strawberry, you probably gotten this one. How do you get them swole six packs? Well, I'll tell you. It's not by going to the gym. It's about eating. Okay? You already have six pack abs. Everyone watching this has six pack abs. They just have a layer of fat that's over top of it. And that's another thing. If you're thinking about like changing your aesthetic in a certain way, if you're like, I want to look jacked and swollen and whatever, you almost have to choose. In my opinion, it takes forever to build muscle. If anything that says you can build muscle in a short amount of time, don't ever look at that resource again, because it's lying to your face. It takes. People didn't ask me if I lifted weights until like a year and a half, until I was into it. But I kept eating and lifting until I got like size. You can lose weight relatively quickly, a lot faster than you can gain muscle. But your question is, how do you get the six pack? Six pack. The answer is fantastic nutrition. A lot of that is just, you have to force your body to go into its fat stores, and the way that it does that is like, I'm not saying go on a no carb diet, right? I mean, you need carbs, but you want to give it enough. So few resources of like glycogen, which is like what it breaks down to, I guess, form insulin and give your body energy, use up your ATP, your resting residual ATP, and then only have fat for it to burn. So how do you get six pack abs? You expend this many calories, you eat this many calories, because you're fat. I mean, it's not everyone wants to make you think that like the human body isn't like, the same human body it's been for like 200,000 years, or like it isn't like, some sort of organism that, has been relatively the same for a while. It's not, like it doesn't say, oh, I know what this trick is. I'm not gonna, no, if you starve it, and I mean, I hate to use the word starve, but like that's kind of what, gets you the six pack abs, eating lean, so like lean meats like turkey, eating a lot of veggies, lowering your carbs, not excluding your carbs, but lowering your carbs to where your body has to use, I guess, what, ketones to release to get rid of your fat. And it takes a while, man. Like it's awful, because I think you store like 3,500 calories in like one, gram of fat, or like one fat cell or something like that. It takes a while. So it's you have to be committed to it, and you have to really push it. Cardio does not give you six pack abs. It's just a tool to lower your calories even further. If you run for an hour and you burn, I don't know what, 500 calories, but you ate like 1,500 calories that day, I mean, you're still at a surplus, and you didn't really gain much. Which another thing is like manipulating your nutrition. If I run on a treadmill for like 10 minutes, I've burned what, like 100 calories or something. But if I chose not to eat a Chipotle burrito, I've taken out like 1,000 some calories. So it's about, and I know that that's like the thing that everyone looks for, but me personally, people who are super lean, who have six pack abs, you got to think, like, unless you're living on a tropical island or something like that, there's not a lot of times where six pack abs is like, super beneficial. But if you are big and you wear a shirt, you're still going to look big. If you wear a shirt and you have six pack abs, you look like a normal human being. And I'm not saying like, people who are big are any better or worse or whatever, but like, you don't, if six pack abs is the number one thing that's important to you, then yes, you have to crush your nutrition, do a lot of cardio, eat lean. All right. Like that's what you do. And if that's your only goal, then that's what I would recommend, and you have to track your nutrition, maybe get somebody who can like coach you. This is a discussion on nutrition that could be a whole nother episode, and I love to talk about it. But it's nutrition. The whoever said, abs are made in the kitchen, we're absolutely right. They're not made in the gym. And in fact, you probably don't even want to work out your abs, because if you build them up like a muscle, they start jutting out, and it looks like you have a muscle belly. And for guys anyway, what appears to be an optimal aesthetic is that V taper, right? Like you want to go from big a genie kind of look. And I'm not saying like twig legs, but like when people look at a guy, they look at him in like a V fashion. And if like if you go like this on the side and then suddenly you have a belly, you know, it might be a strong belly. You might have an awesome core, but it's super developed and it looks like you have like a gut, you know. And so how to get you know, swole 6-pack abs? Your nutrition. And that's what it is. All right, cool. So hopefully I answered that question. Let's see. It looks like I might have gotten more questions. Okay, people are telling me a great show. I'm glad I'm getting a positive vibe from this. I hope, you know, I've loved talking to, you know, the people in the chat. Thank you so much. I loved you know, talking to, you know, looking on Facebook. If you gave me a Facebook question or a chat question, I thank you so much. Like I was kind of, you know, wondering how this would turn out. I've had a lot of fun, you know, talking to you guys. Let me see if there's any other questions that were like posed. Let's see. Okay. All right. Well, I've been here for an hour. And there were a few questions I was asked, but I don't want this to be like a one-time thing. I'm going to be here every Monday at 9:30. Same URL. I should have probably put it on this template, but it's twitch.tv/jtrain1224. You can also find me on YouTube at youtube.com/nataku1224. Give me a follow on Instagram. I'd love that. You can hit me up on Twitter. If you have any, you know, questions brewing from now until Monday, you can email me at jtrainfitness@gmail.com. You can ask them in the chat, like my bros J Bone and Raw Berry and Chris BBN25 did. Thank you guys again. I really love how you helped me contribute to the show. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Now, I will say that this was a I'm a personal trainer, but I kind of hate the sales aspect of personal training. If you go to a gym and you want a personal trainer, they're going to make you buy a package and it's going to be a ton of money. And it's like, it's just, I will always give you my advice for free. As long as you are, you know, if you want my advice, I'm willing to give it, my experience, you know, anything. If you feel like any of the advice I'm giving you is worth any kind of monetary value, at the bottom of this broadcast, there's a button that you can use to donate any amount of money. You can give me a penny, you can give me $1, you can give me $10, whatever, but you don't have to give me anything. I just thought I'd put that out there. I'm going to keep doing this because I love fitness. I love, you know, helping people out. I love motivating people. And, you know, I can't wait for the next episode come next Monday. So I want to thank the Twitch community for you know, being so kind to me. I want to thank my Facebook friends who, you know, shared this, helped me market this, and gave me some questions to answer. So it's Monday, guys. You got the rest of the week. You can dominate it. You guys are heroes. You're superheroes. Be your own superheroes. There's somebody around the world right now who looks up to you, who looks at you as a beacon of like intensity, of positivity, of greatness, and you just got to prove to them that, you know, that they're right, you know, and you have within you the power to unlock it. You just got to know what those keys are, right? So hope to see my new friends J Bone, NS Rawberry, BBN25 next week. Chris, I hope to see you next week as well. People on my Facebook, go ahead, ask me questions throughout the week, and I'll have them from next show. So it's been great, guys. Thank you so much. I thought the show was only gonna be 30 minutes. It turned out to be an hour. That's awesome. So have a great night, guys, and I will see you next Monday at 9:30 Eastern time. Thanks.